Here's just a little thing about the last election and presidential election. You know that 99% of all the presidential visits of the Democratic Party candidate were in 15 states. They forgot Wisconsin was a state. Never showed up. Never showed up. Didn't show up in Michigan till late. Never came to Minnesota. We only won by 1.6%. This is because over the course of many, many years, we have said to ourselves, we're not going to talk to every state. We're just going to talk to the battleground states. We're not going to just talk to the battleground states. We're going to go to those battleground states, to the battleground counties. We're only going to, in fact, we don't see politics as engaging community. We see politics as just doing the little as we can just to win. And not engaging people, because when you engage people, people come with their own opinions. People got views. You go knock on Miss McGillicuddy's door, she might tell you she wants you to actually raise the damn minimum wage. So we don't want to talk to her, we just want to talk to her through a television set, tell her the other guy's worse, vote for us, and guess what? It didn't work out. So guess what? Now it's time to do something new. Now it's time to, and you ain't living in here, Brother Keith, talk against nobody else's political party. I'm against any political party, even my own, if they are not engaging the grassroots. It's not a matter of going left or right. It's not a matter of going left or right. It's a matter of going to the grassroots. You're looking for a direction? Go to the people. They will tell you what they need. They will tell you this economy sucks. They will tell you they can't make a living in this thing. They will tell you jobs, yeah, no problem with the jobs. I got 3 of them. All making $7.25 an hour. Let me just tell you, you got to go to the people. We need a government of, by, and for the people. And right now, folks, it's not. But only the cynics say it can't be done. I believe it already has begun. The Women's March, the women are leading the way in this country. Thank God for the women. That you must understand, Donald Trump is by no means anything more than one individual parroting a very long tradition. Donald Trump is a symptom of a very serious problem that the American left, I believe, has the only real solution to solve. Because who else is going to say in a full-throated, clear-eyed way that not only is racism morally wrong, not only does it hurt people of color, it actually really hurts working-class white people too. And always has, and that's really kind of one of the main purposes of it. Why should a working-class white person in Alabama in 1850 contemplate picking up arms for the SOB who owns the plantation? Why should he do that? How does that make sense for him? You're getting paid less because the people you're competing with don't get paid at all. You are getting treated bad because there ain't no labor standards to be calling for. You're getting the total shaft, but you believe that somehow your interests are aligned with the guy in the big house, which you can't even go into. That's right. And you got a beef with this guy standing there chopping cotton just like you, or sugar cane, or you name it. That's who you don't like, because they gave you this much more gruel to eat than him, and way more than her. This is the problem of 2017. Who is going to help American people understand that racism, sexism, all these isms are fundamentally a tool to maintain a certain hierarchical social order? Because a lot of us just want to wish racism away. But of course, this potent ain't going to be wished away. You have got to take it on in a full-throated way. You got to grab it by the neck and drown it. You got to kill it. And who's going to do it but you? Because other people they don't even understand what Lee Otwater is trying to say to them. That when you say lower high taxes, that is coded, abstract, race-based language. They know it. We all kind of know it. But who is going to confront it? And who is going to deal with it so that we can really bring forth true human solidarity? That's what we've got to be fighting for. But we can't just skip to solidarity because we have too much inequity as a result of historic oppression. So who then is going to say, in order to heal a dirty wound, you have to first clean it? Well, I believe you will do that. So whatever, you're taking one of these precious few days to dig in around what I believe is the most critical issue. You can't even begin to understand income inequality until you understand racism. And by the way, every ism, and I talked about anti-black racism, I could have been talking about the Chinese Exclusion Act in Vincent Chin. I could have been talking about anti-immigrant, anti-Latino stuff. I could be talking about any range of isms as our introducer laid out when we first began this conversation. Human solidarity is the key. Acknowledging that this society has privileged some and disadvantaged others in order to divide both. And if we will confront that, we can fix that. But if we don't confront that, we are, I believe, in very tough shape. We in America, many of us are under the impression that, hey man, this is America, you know, it's just, you know, Trump's gonna, you know, he's gonna lose in the midterms, and then, you know, he's gonna be out in 2020 and everything's gonna be maybe not awesome, but better, but back to normal. Many societies that had representative democracies have gone straight out fascist. Many have. We can name examples of them. And there is nothing stopping this society from doing the same thing unless the people who love this country and are standing up for the values of it are willing to stand up right now. This is key. And I know many of you and me have criticized our country, and it deserves to be. Nobody's going to get up and say that ain't true. Some young lady just explained to me we were on Sisseton land right now, indigenous people's land right now. She just mentioned that. And guess what? It didn't cease to be Sisseton land because the Sisseton said, you know, y'all need some land. We have ours. It didn't go quite that way. And said, you know, black folks, we got to build this country and we need some workers. Y'all want to come over here and help us out? But that's not the story of what happened. But I would submit to you that there's probably no country on this earth that I'm aware of that hasn't had slavery, displacement of people, abuse of land resources. I mean, there's no perfect place, man. So you might as well stand here and fight right here and make this one better. Might as well make this one better. This moment that we're in right now, I really do believe is very serious. It is a moment in which it's important to take stock of not just the latest tweet, but and it's critically important that you don't just dismiss this as incompetence or chaotic bad leadership. No, in fact, what you see happening before your eyes is systematic destruction of every institution designed to stop a certain mentality from taking over everything. When he says fake news and attacks the press and says no cameras, and then goes, and then I'm for social media. Follow me on Twitter, @Ellison. But when he goes around, but when he attacks the press and then uses the Twitter feed in order to simply convince people that the press is not legitimate, what he's really doing is attacking an institution that is designed to put sunlight on government corruption and abuse, and that's the press. That's why Congress shall make no law abridging the press. That's the purpose of it. Now, the fact that the press does not live up to its constitutional responsibility is another question. And that has to do with something I want to talk about in a moment, which is concentration of markets. But that's another issue. So that's the press over there. Even Congress. You all might think, oh, Lisa Murkowski's not so hot, I got peace with her. You know, Senator Snow, I'm not so hot with her. And McCain, yeah, so he did one thing. Let me tell you, this is not the issue. The fact that he goes online and attacks them means that he's willing to persecute people for representing the will of their constituents. That's another institution, the Congress, which is supposed to be representative of the people, which he is willing to attack and undermine, belittle, and move aside. The person who I've been sympathetic to over the last week is this Jeff Sessions. What a horrible guy, right? So racist he couldn't even be confirmed as a judge. So racist. But when you see Trump kicking his butt, it's like, wow, what did he do? Well, what he did is he refused, through his recusal, to help Trump engage in obstruction of justice. So I used to be a criminal defense lawyer for like 17 years. How many times have I seen two guys say, look, you know we both been selling dope together, and if you rat on me, you know, you're going to be sorry, man. You know what they used to say, remind me what they used to say, stitches get stitches, right? And that's what's going on. Snitches get stitches. That's what's going on with Trump and Sessions right now. There's no integrity here, okay? Snitches get stitches. That's basically what's going on. You rat me out, you rat me out. You know, that's what's going on. So the press under attack, the Congress under attack, the institutions of justice and accountability under attack, and we can keep on marching down the line. The racism that you see now has everything to do with what I shared with you here. They're simply trying to appeal to working class white people and say, you're special. You're the special darling. You know, I might be a billionaire, and if you come on Mar-a-Lago, other than to cut the grass, I will have you arrested. White skin and all. Yet, we're together, right? Against them. That is the only way he can keep us from uniting to take over Mar-a-Lago and turn it into a school or something. And every single institution that you see that is designed to create checks and balances and stop a dictator and authoritarian from ruling simply by his whim is under attack. Well, what does mass incarceration have to do with corruption in government and money in politics? Well, it turns out quite a bit. And if you will dig into it, you will see how your efforts and someone else's efforts to get true public campaign finance are actually united. If you're willing to say, look, we're standing up for the environment, we are here to stand up and demand climate action, you understand that that fight and the fight to take on and dismantle monopoly is essential. Because how come we're not taking on ExxonMobil? Well, it turns out to be part of a monopoly. But Chevron, ExxonMobil, BP, there ain't too many of them. It's what a monopoly is. And they use their money to rent politicians who take no action on climate, as our world is getting unlivable for human habitation. For an idealistic, downright unreasonable group of people to demand in America a country that truly affirms human dignity. That's why we gotta all be for some single-payer health care. We saw you voting against the repeal. You're damn right you did. Because half a loaf's better than none. And if you can go to the doctor where before you couldn't, I'm all for that. I got constituents that I got to represent. I've had some people say, oh, so what? So what? It's just a capitalist accommodation. I'm like, you know, you go tell that to somebody who had no shot. We absolutely must have a massive voter education and voter rights movement in this country. 32 states have photo ID laws, and now even the Supreme Court admits that photo ID laws do nothing to promote voter integrity. In fact, they do one thing, they exclude people from voting. Guess what? That's the point. That's like the point of it, right? And people are getting killed because of failing infrastructure all over this country. And we have not made any major investments in infrastructure since Eisenhower. So, but let's get at it. I'm telling you, we haven't done real antitrust since Franklin Roosevelt. That every party, I don't care which party you're in, must be all about engaging the grassroots, building community and relationship with Americans all over this country. Our main goal has got to be to make sure there's not one door, not one family, not one household, not one community that is not fully engaged, empowered, and informed in order to determine the destiny of their family, their community, their country. And they were followed up by the nerds. You saw the scientists out there, right? And they were followed by all the people are in the streets more than ever. This is a very hopeful sign. What we've got to be able to do is systemize and organize this effort so that we can take control of our government. Of, by, and for the people. That's not a bad slogan. This government is in danger of being completely monopolized, and I will simply say to you that if you're willing to believe a little bit more and get out there and meet and engage people you don't know, and make sure there's not one person who feels completely isolated like we do right now, then we can turn this thing around. But it's urgent, y'all. It's urgent. The moment is now to do it. Thank you for being here, and let's get started.